Hello and welcome back to Yes and by Marin YouTube, talking about authentic alignment every single Tuesday. I come to you intentionally in this cozy flannel this week because we are talking about rest. As a yoga instructor, restorative yoga has become one of my favorite classes to teach because I feel its impact immediately every time. Let me preface this whole video by saying I pride myself in being a go-getter. Historically speaking, I have always been the straight-A student, the one who goes above and beyond. I am starting my own business. I enjoy the idea of working hard. I enjoy what it feels like to check off my to-do list, to plan, to pack my schedule. So I was a little surprised as I started to realize that restorative yoga was my favorite class to instruct. However, in hindsight, and as I start to contemplate this a little more, it's no wonder restorative yoga is one of my favorite classes to teach, because that is what I also need. See, we all have our tendencies, our status quo, the thing that is natural to us that we do not have to force. And this is great. This is great that some things come naturally and some things don't come naturally. And what that means is that those things that don't come naturally, we may need a little extra push or a little extra motivation or support to get those things in our life to find some sort of balance. It doesn't necessarily need to be 50-50, even Steven, but to balance yourself with some of those less natural tendencies can be really beneficial. So my call to action for you this week is to try on the unfamiliar. Try on something you don't typically do. In this specific example, I'm saying that I typically am a go type of person. I work really hard, I push really hard, and when I find the opposite of that, which is restoration and rest, I benefit greatly. For me, I've realized some of my greatest insights and inspiration and moments in life have been when I chose rest, have been when I took a breath and allowed myself to just be in the moment without trying so hard. A great example of this for myself, and that you may have also experienced, is shower ideas. So all those times that we get ideas in the shower are often because we have stopped trying to come up with that idea. We have stopped trying to come up with the solution or remember the song tune that has been on our mind for a week. And in the shower, when we let it go, when we're just there and let our mind do what our mind does best, it comes up with the solution for you. You didn't need to try, you didn't need to work harder, you didn't need to put in more hours. You just had to relax, be, and let it come to you. Again, this is a balance. So I don't think shower ideas would come to us if we didn't put in any work to start with. But oftentimes, at least for me, I get stuck in this mindset of if I only worked harder, if I only put in more hours then. And sometimes it's so beneficial to say, what if I didn't work as hard? How could I make this easier? Where could I let go of my grip a little bit? And so many things flood into my life in a positive way when I do that. This week I have 2 challenges for you to take on if you would like. The first is to just notice when you are trying hard, when you are in that mindset of push, 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 just a little harder, just a little bit more, and ask yourself, how could I make this easier? Where in this process can I let go? Where in this process can I take a big breath? And the second challenge is to do one thing that is opposite of your status quo. So for me, as I've explained, this is rest when my status quo is fire and to go after it. For you, that might be the opposite is fire, that your typical is a more calm way of living. Or maybe you tend to talk to a lot of people in class, and so you're going to see what happens when you observe. Or the opposite. You tend to sit back and be quiet, so you're going to make an effort to talk to one person. Do one thing this week that is opposite of your normal, simply to be in the experiment. For me, I find that it adds some balance to my life and it brings a ton of benefit that isn't there normally because it's not in my standard practice. As you enter this practice, as you even start to consider this practice, a few gremlins may come up for you. At least they do for me, especially in relation to this idea of rest as opposed to trying and working so hard. So when these gremlins come up, as they will, I want you to write them down or to voice them or just to take note of what's happening. For me, oftentimes it's, no, I didn't get enough done today. There isn't enough time to rest. There isn't enough time to put a face mask on at the end of the day. I'll just do it later. It's not important. Others might perceive me as lazy. There are a whole bunch of things that come up for me when I think about resting. So maybe you resonated with some of those. Maybe you have your own list of gremlins, of things that come up when you think about doing the opposite of your status quo. It's important to just give them voice and then also to look at them and say, do I really believe that is true? Do I really believe that as my authentic truth? Maybe you do. Maybe in some way that is serving you for the better. Or maybe you look at that and you say, you know, that really isn't serving me. I really don't believe that. That was my father's belief, or that was my teacher's insight that they gave to me 5 years ago. That doesn't even apply to my life anymore. There are these things that come to the surface of where those beliefs came from, and with that information, you have the choice and you have a little bit more freedom to choose whether you continue to believe these beliefs, whether you listen to the gremlins or listen to this other experiment. So that is all for this week. My offer to you is to add a little bit of restoration in your life. I have benefited from it so greatly, and in fact, I think I need to incorporate a little bit more into my life as of late. I have witnessed in my yoga students how much it benefits them every single week, and I would be so stoked to hear about how it benefits you in your life and in your journey toward authentic alignment. Comment below, or the best place to reach me is yesandbymarin.com. Check out that site, of course, for any information about me and for your trial session. Every single individual gets one trial session. If you want to explore the topic that I discussed today in more detail, that would be your place to go. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you again right here next Tuesday.